and gentlemen, welcome to the Good Roads Podcast and welcome to your bulletin breakdown for June 22nd, 2026. You know the rules. We have 3 news articles broken down into 5 minutes each. And here to break it down are our 2 Good Roads contributors, Andrew Blackburn and Thomas Bearcat. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? Mr. Thomas, you're back from the West. How was board meetings?
The West? You mean the South?
Western Ontario.
I would call it the Southwest, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be like the South. Like it's almost as far south as you can get in the province, Jared.
Oh yeah, it's isn't it like laterally the same like height as the Northern California? I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you go down to Point Pelee, Chatham is a bit north of that, but it's not like I would never describe it as the West. Is my point. I'd probably describe it as the Southwest or the South, but. Not the West.
Either way, there are no cowboy hats. So.
There are places in Ontario that are much further west.
Yeah. So when you think of Western Ontario, you're thinking of like Kenora.
I'm thinking like the Northwest. Yeah, like Kenora, Dryden. Like
we don't have a West. Like the West is Michigan.
The middle of Lake Superior is the West.
Yeah.
All right, how is the Southwest then? If you're gonna get like that on me.
Well, I'll say that it was very, very hot. Like significantly hotter than it was here. Like at least like maybe 4 degrees or something. And I was like, what? And the people who are like south or who were from there, I should say, they're like, oh yeah, we've already got this. Like the summer weather is already here. This is how it is all summer. It's hot. It's humid. And I was like, geez, if I want to go down for a beach vacation in Ontario, maybe I'll head down there.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it was good. Yeah, we got to, like I mentioned in our last episode, we got to go to the North Buxton historical site, and we got there was a very good tour there and very informative tour about the Underground Railroad and the settlement of in North Buxton and the history behind it. It was really, really informative. Kudos to the tour guides; they really, really know their stuff. We got to go to a greenhouse, which was very nice because that's obviously a big thing down there. Greenhouses, the growing of vegetables. It's a big part of the economy in the Southwest. No, it was a good time. And then, we had the local, the mayor show up, the local MPP come and greet us and greet the board. Yeah, it was, it was good. We very much enjoyed ourselves. And I think I will be back on a personal trip down there because I really enjoyed it that much.
Oh, that's excellent. It's good when we get out to the different communities in Ontario and see how they're all different, from the warm Southwest to the cold Northwest to the.
I say it. Ironically enough, I say it every year that I think the best part of my job is being able to go to these June meetings because they are usually somewhere else, and like it really does give you a different perspective and on different parts of the province, which we need. To have, like we're very much like in the GTA and getting out and getting those different perspectives. Talking to people is one thing, which we do a lot of, obviously, but actually going out and seeing things for yourself is different. Right. So yeah, very, very happy to kind of do that. It's one of the best parts of my job.
So speaking of getting out and talking to people, I was just outside of the GTA in Oshawa on Wednesday at their annual.
Is that outside of the GTA?
Yes.
I feel like Oshawa you can get there by a GO train.
So everything connected by the. Are we talking Niagara now as part of the GTA?
GTHA.
Doesn't that H stand for Hamilton?
Yeah.
Actually, there was complaining on Reddit the other day that the Lottery Gaming Commission had like this in one of their commercials. They had this map of Ontario, and they were like mapping out where like the winners were, and they had the GTA labeled as from like Windsor to Niagara, like the entire like. So
yeah,
like,
I'm sure
we're really
I'm sure people in Windsor would not feel that way.
Yeah, amalgamation confirmed. But no, we were at the truck rodeo in Oshawa, where their snowplow drivers got to go through a course and compete against each other to see who was the best of the best. And I got to tell you, these drivers are very, very precise and ridiculously good at their job. If you check out Good Roads social media, you see a couple of the videos and clips that I put out there. I actually got to drive around in the cab while one of the contestants was doing his course. The tolerances that they have to drive through is ridiculous, and I'm glad these guys are the ones plowing the street, because I know I'd be running into cars left, right, and center.
So yeah, I saw one of the videos and saw how like precise the turns that they have to make with this,
Right.
massive equipment. And yeah, I could, I'd like to think I'm a good driver, but I don't think I'm that good.
No, well, especially with all the blind spots in this too, it's fantastic. But anyway, let's move on to the show, and are we ready to get started on our first topic?
Let's do it.
All right. It looks like Mr. Andrew has a question for everybody out there. Who among us hasn't flirted with a little pothole vigilantism in our younger days? Gentlemen, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock to answer that question. Let's get going in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Alrighty, so last week, or maybe it was the week before, we were talking about an initiative out in the UK, Dover, I think it was, where the municipality or the local government had actually got locals to volunteer to fix potholes. It was actually a sanctioned, organized thing where they got the supplies and they got the thing, and most importantly, they got the liability covered on a lot of this stuff. Meanwhile, in Canada, the couple other two stories popped up in my my feed this past week. One of them was out of the Sault. This is like earlier in the year, actually. This came up out in the Sault Ste. Marie. There's some citizens who were trying to plot out the potholes in the Sault Ste. Marie area to raise awareness and definitely get some action going. Definitely on an unofficial basis, but I'm sure it was quite welcome out there. I think it's like one of those things where it's like a lot of the cities, like, who don't have like 311, or you call the city and they'll fix it up. It's like a lot of people don't have that infrastructure in place. So it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
How are we going to keep track of this stuff? So they lent a helping hand, and this is something they're going to be keeping out, doing it. It sounds like they were out like on the ground measuring the potholes, and doing all the work and building that map. And I think that's still a work in progress.
Yeah, I got to say though, just like random side note, they call themselves the Pothole Surveillance Unit. I feel like there was a missed opportunity here to be the special pothole unit, like SPU, like you kind of go out there and investigate the potholes,
All right, well, definitely, send them an email. It's like we got some branding tips for pothole.
Law and Order SPU.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
Got
to get Ice Cube up here to help out.
Meanwhile, out west, out in Alberta, northern Alberta, to be precise, out in
Andrew's home province, for those who don't know.
Exactly. So this is kind of interesting because it's a provincial highway leading south from Fort McMurray. Highway 63 is just falling apart. They've had a really long winter, so the pothole season is particularly bad. But apparently, it's like this every year. So all the locals have been trying to rally the officials in who are responsible, like warn them, hey, this is going to be bad. So a bunch of drivers who have like had damaged vehicles at huge thousands of dollars for mechanics bills. They're all just getting frustrated and they're finding local contractors to help out. It's like, okay, let's go patch these up ourselves. When I was reading this story, there's a couple different things that struck out to me. It's like, first of all, I've seen these historically in the past. Actually, there was an Ontario story out from 2019 because there was somebody in Ontario who was frustrated with the local government, and they were filling the potholes themselves as well. Mm-hmm. And the tone of that story was like, don't do that. That is like, there's liability issues.
Yeah, I was going to say liability is the number one thing that comes to mind for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, in this Alberta article, there is zero talk of liability, zero talk of like, don't do this. In fact, it's actually the opposite. So the Ministry of Transportation, who, as a side note, is probably a separatist and probably a traitor to this country. I'll just say that right now and then move on.
A bold statement there, Andrew, to make on the Good Roads podcast, but okay.
Exactly. He's quoted in this article, like he's not saying that the government is going to help fix this. There's nothing out of his mouth saying that they're going to help solve this problem. He seems to be happy that they're doing it, and he wants to offload this to the municipality. And the municipality,
on a provincial highway?
Yeah, on a provincial highway. So the municipality themselves, the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, I believe it is,
Yeah.
what falls under their jurisdiction. They're
Yeah.
saying like, let us do it. Like we don't want to pay for it. We don't want the tax burden to go to
Right.
us.
Yeah,
But
we'll
if
do it,
you
but you
aren't
pay us back
doing
for
it,
it. Yeah.
then let us do it, or let us control the contract. Because apparently there's a contractor that the government uses that is just apparently not doing their job or doing a really terrible job.
Right.
And they're volunteering, like, let us take care of this. And the word from the MTO is like, okay, well, we'll try and we'll think about that. It's like, shouldn't you be saying that we should be taking care of it? It's your highway. It's just ridiculous. It's weird reading this article in this entire different.
So for those our listeners and our viewers, clearly Andrew's very passionate about this. As a good Alberta boy, he takes this stuff very personally, and that's okay, Andrew. It's your home province. We don't expect nothing less. But I just going to make one very, very final point to end this off. One thing I liked about the Sault Ste. Marie one, this group, the Special Pothole Unit, or the Pothole Surveillance Unit, is that they actually said, we don't want this to be seen as like we're shaming the government. It's like we just want to do it in a way that we're actually just helping raise awareness so that the city knows where all these potholes are. And I like that. I think we need like constructive.
It's all done in good faith,
in a sense, or from all from our communities. I think it's nice. It's not always like let's blame, let's shame. It's like we're all a community.
I think the reason why I like this story is I think it's in the exact same spirit as those people out in the UK who are just all like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
exactly.
Let's all work together to make the roads better. So that's definitely what it sounds like out in the Sioux.
Fantastic, awesome, excellent work, gentlemen. Good story there. Let's move on to the next one. How to make active travel the most practical choice for short trips. Gentlemen, we got 5 minutes back on the clock, and let's go in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Sure. Yeah. So, in the past, we've on the pod, can I call it the pod? We've discussed active transportation. We've discussed school drop-offs. We discussed e-bikes, that sort of thing. We're going to take you back across the pond. I know we just mentioned the UK, but their pothole program. But the UK has decided to kind of make active travel the practical choice for short trips. So they're actually deciding to legislate their way through this. So they're making it a national policy to make walking and cycling the default for some of these short trips. And they've actually kind of implemented some targets and some actual funding attached to it, rather than just kind of leaving it as like a feel-good, loosey-goosey type thing where, we want to be good for the environment and reduce our, but it's like, no, they're actually they're putting their money where their mouth is, which I think is a very good thing. So this new active travel strategy is aimed at kind of pushing walking and cycling way up over the next 10 years or so. And their target is they want 60% of kids aged 5 to 16 walking or cycling to school, and that's kind of up from the current 47% from a few years ago. And just to put the kind of context, the local context, I guess, for our listeners and our viewers, in Ontario, that number sits at about 25%. So they're already about double where we're at in the UK, and they're trying to even go further, which I think is a very good thing. I mentioned that we're putting their money where their mouth is. They're actually talking about, or they've earmarked 4.5 billion pounds. Now, this is over 10-year period, I assume. I probably should have looked that up, but that billion. I mean, that's
it's by 2030, so it's actually only like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, no, 2035, Andrew. 2035. So we still have, okay, fine, 9 years, sure. But they got like they want to build like what 5,000.
But the 4.5 billion investment is targeted for 2030 for like those investments specifically for the building networks and for the crossings. Yeah,
I see.
The target goes to 2035, but that funding goes to 2030.
Goes to 2030. Good point. But yeah, so it's back, but they want to build 5,000 new walking and cycling routes, 10,000 safer crossings by 2030 as well. And then they will also want 55% of short urban trips done by active modes, again, by that 2035, which is right now it sits at about 48%.
Yeah.
And they think that
great.
this is going to actually make 5.3 million more people physically active, right? Which is, I mean, that's definitely something you want out of your population.
Which is kind of interesting. I always find it amazing when I'm reading stories like this out of the UK and out of Europe, where it's just like, it's all these things that are good for, like transportation systems and for the population. And the motive behind it is like, making people active. But then there's also just like reducing pollution, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Whenever you see these kind of initiatives in North America, that's never the reasoning. It's always like reducing congestion, getting people to work faster. It's always like these really practical utilitarian things, but it's not like about making lives better in any practical way.
And this probably will end up reducing congestion anyways, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just like to them that's a side effect of this. It's kind of it's crazy when we think of the different parameters we use to make these policy decisions to reduce car use.
Yeah, and it's like can I say, I mentioned that the kind of comparison to the kind of local context. Now this is obviously, this is not this is federal money or national government money, and they're obviously their system of government's a bit different there. We have municipalities in Ontario who try to kind of do this on their own. I know in the past, there's been various kind of provincial programs kind of maybe aimed to increase cycling and actually federal funding as well. I think a few years ago, we had the green infrastructure kind of programs, which was kind of part of that, the infrastructure, the investing in Canada infrastructure program. Yeah. There was kind of a stream that would kind of push this stuff. But this is, I like how targeted and how specific this is.
Yeah.
And how like the targets are actually set. Like this is what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of amazing. I just wanted to have one little caveat I'll mention at the last part is that because you talked about how the government works is like these targets are specific for England. So when we're making those comparisons to Ontario directly, it's not exactly a level comparison because it doesn't include Scotland and Wales. Right. Who have different national priorities for transportation because and those are the more rural areas of the UK. So it's like, so the numbers aren't exactly parallel, but they are definitely relative.
Yeah, not quite the apples to apples comparison.
Exactly.
All right. And the best thing about getting people out and walking to school, we're going to get a whole new generation who gets to tell the story about how they walked to school 4 miles in the snow uphill both ways, just like your parents and your grandparents used to do.
So did you guys walk to school or walk home from school, or did you guys
get driven? Walked and biked.
Yeah.
No, I was I was a French immersion kid, and the school was always a bit further. Okay. So I would always get bused. Every school I went to.
We were lazy kids. Our dad drove us in the morning, and then we walked home from school. That was definitely how I did. And I was looking it up. I was like, I wonder how it was. I went back to my old school in my old house. It was about a 15-minute walk. And just looking at when we're looking at our kid, my kid's only 2, so we're planning ahead. It's like the French immersion would be a 20-minute walk. The local school would be a 5-minute walk. But if we're in a different program, I forget what the name of it. There's another school that's like a 15-minute walk. So that's the most it would be for us would be 20 minutes. So hopefully we can make that work as much as possible.
Yeah, well, both my sons go to French immersion, but it's across a very busy street and a bridge over the river, and I just don't trust drivers that much.
Yeah, don't blame you.
With good reason. One very final point. When I bike to the office, I actually do have to bike uphill both ways because there's like I have to kind of go down through a little valley.
Yes.
when you go uphill both ways, you go downhill both ways too. Yeah. So I don't want to hear any more complaining.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair point.
You got it. You're supposed to use your momentum.
There you go.
Well, there's a very dangerous intersection at the bottom of it, which makes I can't literally anyway. That's
you need to stop and you lose all your momentum.
I've complained to the town of Oakville about it. So Oakville listeners, if you're listening, or Oakville people, if you're listening. Anyway.
All right. Let's move on to our final topic of the day. A quarter of a penny for your thoughts on municipal revenue. And we're going to put 5 minutes back on the clock, gentlemen. In 3, 2, 1, let's begin.
Alrighty, so this one is out of America of all places. We've kind of touched on stuff, sort of like periphery to this, where we're talking about. I think we were talking about like surveys done where citizens have, like in Ontario and Quebec, there were surveys done that's like people were willing to pay to make their roads better. That when it was prompt to it. So there was a measure down in California's Sonoma and Marin counties, where they have a rail transit system called SMART, the Sonoma Marin Rail Transit System. They have voted for a sales tax specifically for funding this train. It's a 1/4 cent tax that would extend the funding of this train for another 30 years. And I just thought that was kind of amazing. Like, yeah, sure. Like, can you imagine having that kind of dedicated funding from a tax for 30 years? I know we have similar things like this, and we've talked briefly about like the gas tax in the past, where it's just like these things are going to this, and the speed cameras when they were up before, like it was kind of like a dedicated fund where it was supposed to be going towards. This was the municipality decision, but it's like supposed to be going directly to safety measures and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting because it's like, if you can have that kind of dedicated funding outside of the usual property taxes, like it would be a game changer for this sort of thing. And I would actually wonder, would you even notice if you were charged a sales tax of 1/4 cent? Especially since we've abolished the penny.
I was going to say, is it a 1/4 cent? So not 25%.
Yeah, a quarter of
0.025.
0.025 cents tax.
I mean, I wouldn't notice it.
Like, exactly, and I'm wondering if that's part of why people were just like very happy to do it. It reminds me of the movie Office Space. Did you ever watch the movie Office Space?
Yes, multiple times.
For those of you who haven't watched the movie Office Space, they're all going to get laid off, or I think they have been laid off. And one of the engineers for the company found a way to siphon off fractions of cents into a bank account, and they were going to scam this company.
I believe that's called skimming. That's a felony.
And spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, it all goes wrong, and they make a mistake, and then yada yada yada. You know, they learn life lessons and stuff like that, or they go to jail, or no, they do avoid going to jail. But anyway, this is like one of those things where it's like, these are just fractions of a cent.
Yeah, like for something that. Like mine, like you probably wouldn't even notice it. Like it's almost like sometimes you pay a credit card charge at a store that's more than that. You know what I mean? Like when you're using your. Yeah. Actually, the other really funny side story. The other day, I was out getting a shawarma nearby, and they had a special charge for tapping, 18% extra if you tap your card, and which made me very suspicious that like they wanted me to insert the card, and I was like, you know what, I'll pay the 18 cents and tap the card because I don't know what kind of operation you're running here, you know. And I'm
bring
like,
cash next time.
yeah. So.
Yeah,
well, no, but like, that's
a good point, because we pay these little tiny fees all over the place when we take out money, when we do this, when we do that, and we just sort of accept them. It's just like, if we could, even if it was like more than a fraction of a cent, it was just like, if it's like, okay, sorry, there's a road service fee on your phone bill or whatever, and it's okay, that $2 a month is going to maintain the road so I don't have any potholes. So it's like, I like this idea. I don't know how. I'd be very curious to know how it could be practically applied in the Canadian context.
Right. Well, see, whenever it comes to like increasing kind of funding, which means it's whether it's a tax or a toll or whatever, it really has to be politically like doable. It has to be something people don't just immediately say, okay, this is just going to make the cost of living more expensive. Look at the carbon tax. It's so easy to demonize it. I know the intentions were good, whatever, that's in the past, but that's a perfect example. Something like this, maybe because it is so small, this is and it's so dedicated, it's so specific. There isn't this kind of
I think people would know. I think the carbon tax is a really good example because it was so confusing to people because they didn't know what it was. And a lot of people who wanted to get rid of it didn't realize that they were actually getting most of their money back for the most part.
I know. It's so funny because now I don't get that, that rebate 2 or 3 times a year or whatever. But
exactly.
Whatever.
So hopefully anybody who voted or who was against the carbon tax and they missed that bill, you don't get to miss it. You don't get to miss it.
I will say, I'm not going to lie. It was nice to fill up gas for like the first time after that was scrapped. I'm like, wow, it's so much cheaper now, even though like I know I probably would have got most of that back in a rebate. I don't know.
All right. We'll wrap it up there. Nice little call out to Office Space there, Andrew. That's a fantastic movie. Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Our Gen Z listeners might not understand the reference. So do you have some homework for this week?
Yeah, they definitely should go out and watch that. And
watch Office Space and then follow it up with Idiocracy just for fun. Mike Judge double header.
That's too much of a documentary at this point, Andrew. But anyway.
Mike Judge has some fantastic shows that he does. I think Beavis and Butthead got a reboot too. That was like very
Actually, that seems to be the theme of the day. We were just talking about King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Yeah. There you go, Mike Judge. A lot of the characters from Beavis and Butthead.
yeah. And wasn't he the one behind Silicon Valley, like the HBO show? Yeah. That show is so underrated. Anyway, I know we're getting off topic here, but that's a great show.
Well, no, it's good to get a little bit of fun in because our something fun this week is not terribly fun. I wanted to bring up
it's just so everyone knows it's gonna be another rant week.
No, it's not exactly a rant. It's just I'm very disappointed. It's one of those things where parents are like, I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed. And what I'm talking about is starting next season, CBC will no longer be hosting Hockey Night in Canada, which this show's been going on for decades, and it's a staple of Saturday nights in Canada is to sit down in the winter and watch a hockey game. And now you have to pay for them. And it brings me back to, I think it was like a decade ago when Blue Jays games that used to be played Saturday afternoons on CBC over the air, things like that for free, were taken off, and now you got to pay for those too.
You know what, Jared? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm not. When it comes to, like you said, you're disappointed, you're not angry. I'm very angry. I think it's actually. I'm very. This is just another attack on our Canadian kind of cultural institutions or heritage in a sense. When you ask somebody what does being Canadian mean to you, and a lot of people will say it's watching CBC on Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada. They had Coach's Corner before. I know that was off for a while for other reasons, and I'm not defending that, but it felt like a Saturday night. It felt like we were all kind of connected through that. And in a country like Canada, which welcomes so many newcomers every year, it's important to have those things that kind of bring us all together, that everybody has kind of equitable access to. And
that's the thing too. Is like you see those commercials too. When they started to bring out the Punjabi version of that, it's like you've got these newcomers to Canada, and how do you connect with the community that you're in? Well, they all watch Hockey Night in Canada. We've got something that is in your language that you can understand, and you can connect with everybody Monday morning over the water cooler talking about the hockey game.
Yeah. And now you have to, like everything else, a corporation comes in and now you got to pay for it. And I guess the writing was on the wall. Like the Leafs are now, I think, owned, like majority owner is Rogers. And Jared, you mentioned the Jays a couple of years ago, or maybe a decade ago. Rogers is the majority owner there, and they probably make most of their money, or a lot of their money, on television rights or television kind of contracts and whatnot. But essentially, they're forcing everybody to kind of pay to watch it. And to me, it's just they should have left Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, I know. Well, it stopped working on CBC Gem even before this happened. Like I couldn't, I don't have a working saddle or a working antenna on my TV. I don't know how to make CBC actually work on the TV itself. So I was just using it on Gem. So it's just like I couldn't watch it on Saturday nights. Anyway,
it's a shame. In this era, we need more things to connect us and bring us together. And honestly, it sucks, and I'm disappointed, but I'm also very angry about it. And this is where I don't know, just letting.
Well, and it's upsetting too when you look at the NHL and they've seemed to have actively tried to discourage people from watching hockey with all the blackouts. Like, I mean, we live in Ontario with 4 or 5 teams around us, and you can only watch one depending on where you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, if your team is outside of that one team, then
tough luck if you're not a Leafs fan.
Yeah. I know.
Well, and then they wonder too why people when you make it that difficult to watch hockey, people aren't gonna go buy your product, especially when it's overpriced like NHL Center Ice. They're gonna hit the high seas and yar matey, if you know what I'm talking about.
Gotcha. Yeah, fair enough, Jared. But anyway, just maybe to wrap this up on a more positive, and I know you said you didn't want me to say it, Jared. I just want to say, I want to congratulate our boys, the Canadian national soccer team, for their massive win against Qatar, 6-0. I've never been so proud to be a Canadian soccer fan. We normally don't have a lot to cheer about. I'm cheering for the boys. On behalf of the Good Roads podcast, I want to send our best wishes to Ishmael Kone. I know he might be listening to us. I think he's a fan of Roads. Get well. That was a gruesome injury, but we're behind you 110%, and let's go beat Switzerland.
All right. And when we don't win another game in this tournament, the email is podcast@goodroads.ca. You can let Thomas know the next time. Just don't even bother.
Well, you know what, Jared? People were trying to make the case that there was a Carney curse, and Carney was at the game yesterday, and they won 6-0. So just saying.
All right. Well, hopefully you talking about it breaks the curse. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So,
I think you were the problem, Jared, not me.
But what I'm not going to keep my mouth shut is fall Good Roads courses. You can check them out at goodroads.ca/education. We got a lot of good courses up there. The leadership, supervision, and administration courses for leaders and potential leaders out there. You definitely want those courses. We've got contract law, advanced contract law, conflict dispute, all these things to help your office run smoothly and to help you interact with your employees a lot better. Road safety schools coming up in September. You want to keep those roads safe, and we know how to do it. It was a huge hit last year. Everybody loved it. Featuring the road safety auditing course with Ken Beer coming all the way from Australia to talk about it again. Looking forward to seeing Ken. It's always a pleasure to talk with him. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments below. If you're watching the YouTube version, we'll love to hear from you. Love to get back to you. I had a couple emails this week from some people about the podcast, which was fantastic to hear. It's good to hear that you're out there, you're listening to us, and you want to know more. So until next time, everybody, take it easy.